Shalom, brothers and sisters. We're going to take a topic on this week's Torah portion, which goes by the name Naso. And the topic we're going to be talking about is the Sotah, which is talked about in this week's Torah portion. And the Sotah is when a man suspects his woman of adultery. And we see, going deep into the understanding of, this topic, it's when a man has a suspicion of his wife, and that he says to not be with another man. Maybe she's spending too much time with another man alone. And so he suspects something going on, and he tells her not to do it, but she continues. And so to take this matter further, what he does is he can take it up to the priest, the Kohen, and into the tabernacle, and this problem could be resolved. Now, it's important to understand that there were rules applied to the Sotah, such as both the woman and the husband had to agree to this, and if the woman admitted to committing adultery or doing wrongdoing, then they would just part their separate ways and move on in life. And so, if she confesses her own guilt, but in the situation that she doesn't, what would happen is if she agrees to going up to the Kohen, to continuing with the Sotah, they would go up to the Kohen, and the Kohen would do a certain ritual with water. He would grab dust upon the temple floor, put it in water, and she would drink of this. And if she did, in fact, commit adultery, then she would receive a curse throughout her life. And it would be clear that, she committed adultery. And if she didn't, then it would be in the husband's, perspective. For him, he wouldn't receive anything wrong, but clearly he saw, his suspicion was incorrect. She would receive a blessing and, children, right? And so the principle we see here is, you can go really into detail into, the Sotah, but we see how, this physical law manner is not just, applied to the courts or just a simple law manner. It's taken into, the tabernacle. It's taken into with God's name, and God's involvement is in this because he values relationship. God, he wants for a husband and wife to always be happy, to always praise him, to always have that connection of love. And it's extremely important for there to be peace between husband and wife to the Lord. And so in marriage, it's important for us, the lesson that we learned today, it's important for us to always make sure that we are on each other's side. We always have peace in our household and not having that misconfusion, because the Lord wants us to be pure. He wants us to have a bond and a connection. Just like we have a relationship with him, we have with the relationship here on earth with another individual. And so it's important for us in our life, in our relationships, to always have a strong bond and connection, spiritually, physically, and everything. And so what we learn from this is that there is an extreme importance in relationships and having a correct bond, because with no suspicion, with none of this going on, what we receive is constant blessings in our life, and the Lord will bless you in any relationship you have if you're doing everything through him and following his laws and ways in the correct way through the Torah, rather than, going on and wandering off in the ways of this world, committing adultery, lying, fornicating, and doing all these other things. That's how you bring curses and death upon your life and your relationships to an end. So that's just one thing we see from this week's Torah portion that everyone should look out for, and trying to, be truthful and honest in their relationships, keeping it as a bond to, have a peaceful household and not have a household of chaos, because, the enemy, he wants to ruin our households. He wants us to put us head to head against each other. And it's important for us to not let him do that, and give all glory and thanks to God for everything he provides for us. And, try to keep our households as one holy place.